Hey everybody, this is Angelo Hunter, aka your boy Jello, the Inspiration Hunter. Back once again with a little Inspiration Hunter podcast. And first of all, I just want to reach out and say thank you very much for all of you who have taken time out of your busy day and schedule to check out the podcast. And so today we got some real good topics to talk about. And let's just first start with knowing yourself. We had started the conversation in the first episode with, we're talking about the mind, developing the mindset of a champion and really going after what you really want, that type of thing. And potentially looking out for your best interests in the way that you are motivated and undeniably going after what you really want, with the mindset of being persistent and consistent and patient with progress, and assuming that you are passionate about what you really want to go after. You're taking that passion and bundling it up and using that energy as leverage. But as many folks have, I'm like no other person, I'm an everyday human being like you are, obviously. And it took me a while, and it's always a continual thing. This is not a quick fix or anything like that when you're dealing with changing your mindset or using your mindset to get to yield an outcome that you truly desire in your life or your fitness life or anything like that. And remember that the main thing with myself doing this, or doing this podcast for myself and to get the word out about how important your mind really is not to be all bougie and over the top with all these ridiculous affirmations. And in the short term, maybe affirmations may work for you, but in the long run, they really don't help you exude that confidence to go on and be that champion that you want to be. So let's get right into it. Knowing your real self. And remember, this is all my opinion and some things I've used over the years from resources and also learning through continuing my education with learning about the development of mindset for to succeed in whatever it is you're trying to attain. So obviously, knowing yourself and really looking deep within yourself, it demands a real personal understanding about your emotions and your aspirations and knowing what you're feeling and what happens when you have that certain feeling and how it trickles down through your life. Your spiritual values and all that stuff is all within knowing yourself. No one part is to be looked at more than the other. Obviously, you want to be balanced as much as possible as far as fulfilling requirements you want in your life, right? So self-discovery is a huge thing nowadays, or personal development, whatever you want to call it. And to have I think people are really hungry to figure out what is the long-lasting peace of mind, or how can I attain lasting peace of mind, happiness, if you will, and be content. Well, a better word is not to be content, but to be creative and continually develop yourself. We are all we're all able to acquire new knowledge, right? You know that old saying, can you teach an old dog new tricks? And of course you can. Of course you can. You're not the end result of what you are today, right? You'll be the same person physically, but growing exponentially over a period of time of your life expectancy or whatever, right? We never know how long we're going to be here. It's very important. So the first step towards knowing yourself is to look to the needs of your soul, right? You want to look that deep. Like what gets you excited? What gets you that, maybe you get that little feeling in your gut every time this certain thing happens, or every time you think about this certain thing that you want to do. And you want to take a mental note that, it's not just about what you're feeling in your body. After that, it's about what your soul is telling you, right? Like, what is that thing that you want to satisfy your soul with, right? Like Bob Marley says, satisfy my soul, right? And that's what you want. And, obviously we all know that the soul lasts forever. So whatever it is that gets you to think about what fires up your soul and makes you really passionate, then that's what you should be going after. And I think often we get caught up in our busy lives and schedule with this idea, and, we get overwhelmed with all this other stimuli, and we totally forget about what we really want from the inside out. What do we want deeply? What are we passionate about? And we get caught up in the monotony. So, it's what I'm saying is we want to stay connected to yourself and and draw attention to of that more often, and try to stay away from all the outside distractions, right? The cell phone stuff, and always looking at your email and things like that. Most cases, our attentions are drawn in meeting outward desires in most cases, and that don't add up to what we really want, right? So some of those satisfactions of these external desires leads to another one cropping up. So you get satisfied, and you think of something that you immediately want to get busy and get cracking and get after, right? But taking time to really maybe disconnect yourself from all the technology and just find a peaceful place to just be with yourself. Just be. You can call it meditation if you will, and that's totally fine if you're into meditation. I personally love meditation, and when I can find that quiet, even if it's only 5 to 20 minutes. 20 minutes is usually, that's where I'm at right now, where I can actually stay in that state of awareness. So that's it's taken a long time, but it's again staying patient and persistent with, practicing a new habit and creating a new natural positive habit for yourself. And that's really what it's all about. So as we move into this, the real self, to a large extent, remains to be in love with others. In other words, you feel great when you're helping others. You aspire to do better for yourself by helping others, and you're a very heart-centric individual. And it also, when you do these things, it gives you a glimpse of who you really are inside yourself, right? So when we cling to what we absolutely love with other individuals, this somehow makes something in our brain like boom and helps us discover more about ourselves. So not only are you helping other people, but you're also helping yourself when you're helping these other folks, right? So it's the natural gut feeling of doing what's right and feeling good, and in return, that's the reciprocation, right? And obviously, when you have negative emotions, it also takes away, right? So you're less likely to go inner or inside yourself when you have that negative emotion or distraction around you. Another thing that helps you discover your real self is through having a commitment towards life, right? Making sure that you give your all when you have a given opportunity right in front of you, and looking at the whole picture of life. The people that are surrounding you. The distractions. Sometimes it's people. I like to call them the anchors. Sometimes you need to let the anchor go in order to get more focus on the intangible values like love and honesty and sacrifice, right? So those are the things that really, really trigger or evoke a response from most people. Being loved, giving honesty and being honest, and also having that inner sacrifice and external sacrifice for others. And these make you look inside yourself to find out what your real inner needs are. So having a deep insight to yourself puts you on the path to knowing your real self, and it makes you feel like you're having a more meaningful and reasonable life. And every day it helps all of us become a better person. So as we move into, I get a lot of questions, especially from clients, training clients, about not so much of a success factor, because most of them are successful in their own right, but successful as far as you're being happy. a lot of folks are not happy, for instance. So for a large part, it's not always about, having that extra hundred or thousands or hundred thousands of dollars in your bank account or anything like that. It's more of what can I do to better myself now that will increasingly make me a better person, father, mother, sister, brother, whatever it is, employee or entrepreneur, whatever it is. What is that next step, and how can I get it out of myself? So I'm sure you can resonate with this. When you felt capable of so much more than what you're doing at that point in your life, and it happens to all of us. That light bulb moment, that aha moment, and unfortunately, it's more common than not to find lots of folks very unsatisfied or dissatisfied with their lives. As we all know, culture is all about creating a safe and easy life. We don't like challenging ourselves for some reason, or some of us have lost that passion to challenge ourselves. And this takes away from what we're really, truly capable of doing. It locks up our potential. And then we start to believe these perceived things that are coming at us as being truth when they're not. And, we get separated from unleashing the beast, as I like to say. Unleashing that monster inside of us. And I'm not saying negative, but unleashing that go-getter, the hustler, that spirit of the unstoppable spirit, basically. And so getting to know yourself, you make a list of, so a couple of things you could do is you make a list of your strengths and weaknesses, and, this should be input from whoever you know. Ask your friends, your family, and, they can give you a more objective view of yourself, of who they see, who you are. Overcoming our character flaws, but also acknowledging the good things that we do as well, and traits that we have. This helps build your self-esteem right off the bat, and it helps, it's a component of really getting into your inner potential. So that's number one. Number two, never stop learning, right? Reading books. I personally have just gotten back on track with this, so reading, and sometimes it has nothing to do, a lot of the time it has nothing to do with fitness stuff, so, never stop learning, reading books, blogs, again, tapping into where you might want to be, or if you have a goal or intention in the next several years or months or whatever. Attend seminars, surround yourself with the same people that are talking and have the same language as you, or people that you strive to or aspire to be one day, or not to be, but people that you admire for what they've accomplished, and take little golden nuggets from them. And mentors, because they're everywhere, right? And number three, create both short-term and long-term goals. I like to call them intentions. What do you really intend on wanting and desiring into your life, or want to manifest into your life, into improving yourself? Be very specific with this one, right? And visualize the outcome, right? If you can see it and create it in your mind, and most of the times, you'll follow through with the habits of getting there, and really watching the folks that are doing what you want to do. And keep a list of successes, even the really tiny ones. I have a lot of little tiny ones, right? I take all those little tiny ones and they add up to one big one, right? So failures are obviously going to crush your confidence at first. They always do. And sometimes it puts us it paralyzes us from actually moving forward. So be aware of that, but take note of those and learn from them, right? The small ones will also help you realize what you have achieved, what you have done so far, right? Instead of thinking, oh my God, I just didn't do enough, look back and be like, boom, you know what? I actually did quite a bit, and I've actually started really doing things. Instead of trying to do 100 things in one day, you're breaking these things down into little, your main objective into tasks, and making sure that you get those tasks done maybe on one specific day during the week, and you make that time of that specific day during that week you create their own little routine, and then you build off of that. So that's just a little example of something that you can do to get you in that right direction, right? And always have it in your to-do pile. What do I do next? Exit off, highlight it, whatever you need to do to ingrain it in your head that you are moving forward into the right direction. And finally, set your own benchmark, right? We're always comparing ourselves to other people and what they've done, and we've accepted that success or their success as our way of finding our own success. So in other words, if I'm watching one of the big fantastic speakers that are out there between Tony Robbins and Les Brown and Jack Canfield and geez, so many of them. And we even throw Martin Luther King in there and JFK and speakers that really resonated with their audience. You cannot compare yourself to those folks, all right? You can aspire to achieve the successes or impact that these folks have had on their audience, but be proud of yourself in making your own progress, because in truth, we only want to be better than we were the day before. Okay, that should be that is a milestone comment for me, because I was a great master of procrastination and inaction. So I've learned to turn that into proactive and patience and sustainability. And remember, it's about unleashing the potential within yourself, and you just don't ever measure yourself up against other people's accomplishments, because you know what? You create your own success, right? We don't try to mimic success, right? You may take tidbits of information from folks and create your success, but don't fall into that trap. I've done it for years on end. And now you finally, when you make those little footholds and those you get those fingers grab, in those crevices like a rock climber, and you're digging in, and you finally figure out, you know what, I'm at that point of no return. All I need to do is just keep going forward, because I'm further than I was the day before. And then that way, if you kept your journal up to date, and we'll be getting into that talk in another episode on the 4 emotions or things that will help you recognize when you're about to fall into the negative, traps. And finally, guys, and once again, I'd like to say thank you for listening in on this. I hope you're getting some tidbits and some great nuggets out of here. So I'm going to leave you with this: 4 simple strategies. I know you guys really need one more strategy, but this is stuff you can do like right now. All right. And we talked about, we've gotten into, society lately has gotten into that rut of not challenging ourselves, right? We've made things easy for ourselves for so long that now some of us have forgot to think of, not so much out of the box, but actually just become the thinkers that we are, the creators that we are, and that's what's important. So discovering our locked potential requires getting out of our comfort zones, right? If you're not, in this, this is actually something that follows through in fitness. If you're not challenging yourself enough, right, to create change, your body has to be pushed just a little further than it was after it got comfortable, right? So when your workouts have gotten really comfortable, it's time to trip that wire, right? It's time to throw a little wrinkle into the pattern, all right? So challenge yourself. You'll get through it. You're not going to hurt yourself, right? So that's the thing. Number 1, challenge yourself. If you ever wanted to switch jobs and create a new skill, and why not take some concrete steps towards making these, your thoughts into reality? Get out of your comfort zone. Maybe find somebody who's doing what you want to do, or maybe you could follow them around and see what it's like, and get yourself in an unfamiliar territory. This will help you uncover your true talents and strengths, right? It's only then you will force yourself to try new things, and then it'll show you what you're capable of, right? So say yes more often, and that'll get you in the right direction. And don't get stuck in a rut. That's number 2. When you stay in the same place for too long, you tend to get stuck in ruts. That's all of us, right? Our lives become so mundane and monotony, and you like the hamster on the wheel and the dull routines, and things get out of whack, and everything gets out of control, right? The house, travel, you're all over the place. Travel when it's for a release of negative energy or just to get away and have some peace of mind with your family is fantastic. We do not take this as serious as we should, because a lot of the time stress is the cause of a lot of things, health things that are going on with a lot of folks, and they don't even realize it till it's too late. So traveling also helps bring out the creativity, right? Your mind finally gets relaxed, and you start to discover new things, and maybe you do read, maybe that's the time you read, right? And you discover new things about how other people live, and you're more open to learning or taking conversation from, the people of that wherever you're visiting. So things like that. Do something, create that. Maybe you do that like every couple of months or every couple of weeks or whatever. Choose your own, systematic approach to it. Create a new connections with people. That's number 3. Getting out and sometimes going to a lot of these speaking events and things, and I'm not saying they're bad, but really, taking action on the people that you meet, new people that you meet, and your acquaintances, and really creating whatever it is that you want in your life is a great thing, because you can meet so many people doing so many different things in so many different parts of the world that a lot of us just go somewhere, we go on vacation or we go on a trip for business or seminars, and we meet those people and we never talk to them. So seeing ourselves through someone else's eyes is always a great way to gain a valuable perspective and insight into how you think and also perceive the world around you. And it's also good to see how people perceive you, because sometimes I think we have this perception of who we are, and that also helps us grow. Really seeing how people react to us helps us grow and helps us move forward into the right direction, especially when we know they're good eggs, right? We want the bad eggs out and the good eggs in. Number 4, and this is it, go against the grain. And it's safely go against the grain. Challenge yourself to do the exact opposite of your first impulse for the day, right? So maybe you trip up yourself a little bit in the beginning of the morning. I mean, if it's something that is related to you eventually getting towards your intention and goals quicker, then obviously don't do that. I don't mean it in that way. But for instance, if you want to stay inside and read, maybe just go out of the way and make a trip to the park, or pack a lunch instead of going to your favorite little diner spot or something like that. Something small like that. And remember, we're looking to get out of the comfort zone, but you're also continually pushing yourself to try new things. And eventually, if you don't already know, you'll learn a bunch of new things about yourself, and you can explore these things further and then find something in your potential and where you want to go. So that's it, guys, and that's actually why I actually started picking up a guitar, and I am a drummer by trade, so that is something, and I'm not, if years down the street I become a great guitar player, that's awesome, but it's just getting out of my comfort zone and trying something new, and that's it. Once again, I want to thank you so much. I really do appreciate you hanging in there and checking out the Inspiration Hunter podcast. And once again, this is the weekly edition of the Inspiration Podcast. I've got some new things coming down the pipe. Keep your ears to the ground. Check out the Inspiration Hunter every week. And that's it, y'all. Thanks a lot. Angelo Hunter, a.k.a. the Inspiration Hunter. Talk to you soon.